Yeah, we are in the midst of
Hey guys, this is Backdraft and welcome to a brand new series in the Create Above and Beyond mod pack. So this is a single player world that I just created and dropped into. This mod pack just released 3 days ago. I've been doing some research into it, reading around about it, watching some other videos, and this looks right up my alley. It looks so dope. It reminds me a lot of Sky Factory, which I loved so much. So it centralizes around the Create mod, and there's a bunch of stuff that you can do in this mod pack, and let's go over a little bit of it right now. Before we dive in, if you love modded Minecraft, you love the Create mod, you love redstone engineering, then this is the channel for you. So consider hitting that like button, subscribe, and hit the bell for notifications so you never miss another video on my channel. I'm currently trying to push for 1,000 subscribers, so any help you guys can give is much appreciated. The whole premise behind this mod pack is you start off with absolutely nothing, much like you do in any Minecraft world, and then the plan is to build your way all the way up so you can make a rocket ship and go to the moon. Yep, we're gonna end this series landing on the moon, but to get there, there is so much you have to do. There are so many contraptions that you have to build, and a lot of it involves the Create mod. But if you are familiar with the Create mod, don't be fooled. It is vastly different in this mod pack. So it looks like it's starting to get dark, so we may have to run away if we see any mobs, but that'll just make for fantastic content watching me run for my lives on the first night. We haven't even done anything yet, and we're already on to the first night. So anyway, in this mod pack, we have a ton of differences like I just said. So for example, the very first thing is the ore system is completely different. So if I click on the iron ore, you can see that if we put an iron ore through a millstone in the Create mod, if you guys aren't familiar with the Create mod, essentially the millstone and the crushing wheels are ways to do ore doubling in the regular old Create mod. But as you can see, through crushing wheels, which we won't be able to get till way later, one iron ore only produces one crushed iron ore, and then a crushed iron ore, if you smelt it, only produces 3 iron nuggets. So it's going to take us way longer to get certain materials. And doing certain things in the Create mod are also going to take longer, not only because it takes more and more time to gather up the resources, but to build basic things in the Create mod, for example, like an encased fan, the recipe is completely different. So to build an encased fan, you need to combine a propeller and this new thing called the Andesite machine, which is from a mod called Cube.js, I think is how you say it, Kubi, which adds in a bunch of extra Create mod contraptions and features. So this andesite machine actually requires 8 of these kinetic mechanisms and an andesite casing, and these kinetic mechanisms are a lot more complicated than you think to build. It is super complicated to do anything in this mod pack. It is starting to get really dark, and we have zombies coming in, so I think it's time we'll go and punch a tree and see if we can wait till morning, and then we will move on. I'm just gonna go get the basics set up. Oh my god! So I grabbed some wood, and we ended up climbing up this tree for our lives, and I think we'll be okay up here, at least until morning rolls around, and then we can do a little bit more exploration. But anyway, while we're up here, let's go over the quest system for this mod pack, because it's pretty important and it kind of guides us through everything that we're going to need to do. So let me open this up. So over here we have all of the quests. We start off with the welcome, and then we have a remote trading section and a factory guide section to start with. So let's just go to the welcome section. So each quest that you complete, you actually get a reward for it. So I think that this starter one here just has limitless potential. This pack is for you. We hope you'll have a good time with it. I don't know if there's anything else that kind of explains what's going on. So let's just go here. So with this quest right here, this pack is for you. We hope you enjoy it. We just click the check mark and say that we're done, and then we can choose a reward. So wildflower or a flower pot. I don't know which one would be more useful, so I guess we'll just take the flowers. So then you can see that we actually got the flowers. It's now in our inventory. I think you can just, this is just useful for dye, so it's not super useful. But let's go through some more. So complementary optional. So the questing system helps you with the primary customization, spell it then. Okay. Customizations of the mod pack, trades, and the progression of tech. Completing quests is not required to progress through the game. So we're done with that. Okay, so mod pack description. The sandbox has been turned upside down. Be ready to invent your best create contraptions yet, or the first if you are that brave. Yeah, so we're a little familiar with the create mod. If you guys aren't familiar with the create mod in this series, have no fear. I'm gonna try to explain what we're going through as we progress. So with this one, we end up getting builder's tea. So I don't know. Actually, oh, this is the builder's tea from the create. This actually gives you haste. That's pretty cool. The next one says about 50 inventions lie between you and the moon. So yeah, there's going to be tons of different contraptions we have to build before we can even think about building the rocket ship. I don't even know how long it's going to take. So, but yeah, this series is probably going to run in tandem with my SMP series. Just to let you guys know, I'm going to play both, you know, kind of on and off. But this one, we have a definitive end. That's going to be eventually when we build the rocket. I think that's probably when we'll wrap it up. But anyway, thousands of components will flow through the ever-growing sequence of your machines, providing the means to explore the next level of technology. Okay, so there's tons of inventions. And we got ourselves a cookie. Next up, we have your entire factory will be put to the test as final products flow into the data center, programming the guidance computer of your spaceship. Every step is different. Some may even differ depending on the generation seed of your world. Okay, and we get some wheat seeds for that one. Okay, then we have tired of the grind. Fund the operation with coin provided either from various errands or your chosen professions. That I heard about and it sounded really, really cool. Automatically ship produce from your farms or gather other players to aid you in your mission. Then you can purchase all manner of resources, artifacts, and building blocks from the market, making your life just a little bit easier. So in the mod pack, we have this thing called silver coins, which I believe act as the currency. So what they're talking about with remote trading is you can designate specific professions that your player can have. So for example, here's a hunter, sell all manner of monster loot with the hunting permit. And I think eventually you can, depending on your profession, I believe it is, you can eventually trade the goods that you reap from that profession for these silver coins. And then you can use these silver coins to actually buy things. So for example, I think it's 100 silver or 100 or 1,000 silver is 1 gold. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments if you guys know. If not, we'll figure it out eventually. But you can use, so for example here, if you trade in a diamond saw with 5 pieces of gold, you can get an enchanted saw, which is actually an unbreakable tool. So that's super, super awesome. So this says the market gives you options to spend your money on a variety of fun and useful items and gadgets. Have a look around. I'm sure you'll find something of use. That's super awesome, and we completed a quest there. So you can actually exchange silver for gold. So repeatedly, you can do this endlessly. So it's 60. I said it completely wrong. It's 64 silver for 1 gold, and you can exchange 1 gold for 64 silver as well. So over here, let's check on something. For example, we can use 10 silver to buy a bed, which is actually super cool. I don't think you can choose a specific color. Over here, we can trade 32 gold for a bedrock. So towards the end of the pack, the whole idea is that we will have so much money that we won't even know what to do with it. So that's just a brief overview of trading. Let's continue on with the welcome tab. So we have the quest content overview. Okay, so the bulletin board provides means to earn currency for trading. Here you can complete various errands or buy a profession permit for use in the trading machine. The market gives you options to spend your money on a variety of fun and useful items and gadgets. Shipments are the automated way to exchange coin for resources. Here you can buy import cards for use in the trading machine. The factory guide provides useful information for the path of technology and automation. All challenges to be overcome have been neatly organized into chapters and tasks. It is entirely optional to follow this guide. Okay, so then, and that just gives us, is that just an empty book and quill? Or is there something written in there? Nope, it's just empty. And finally, off you go. So now that you have an idea of what is new and what is not, settle in and start your journey. It looks like we get 3 XP levels, and we completed the entire chapter. Well, that was easy. Let's grab this experience. Where did the... Oh, it just automatically gave us the experience. And it is daytime. Right on time. So now let's talk about the factory guide, which was mentioned in the welcome section. So here is the overview. So the idea is you start over here. It's called From a Tree Puncher, and you end with To a Spacefarer. So this here is when you eventually land on the moon, you can get the moon turf. And then I'm pretty sure once you get to there, the pack is pretty much over. So you start here from a tree puncher. We already punched a tree and got some wood. And we got some apple cider for that. So it says, welcome to the overview. You can always come back here to catch up on your current position in the progression of technology. If you look closely, your journey to the moon completes the final step of the way on the right side. So we got the tree puncher. We have to progress through all of these different things and eventually build all the technology that we're going to need to build the rocket ship. So the very next thing that we have is chapter 1. The earliest inventions reveal one's resourcefulness with low-level equipment. Auto crafting? None. Filtering? Not cheap. Item transport? May the belt spaghetti mesh in your favor. So starting out is going to be really, really hard to build useful contraptions. After hitting the check mark above, the first chapter of the factory guide will become accessible from the quest sidebar. So I hit that check mark, and then here we go. So the very first chapter is right here. There's other sections in here too, like metallurgy, which kind of gives you a guide as to the best way to farm your resources in the most efficient manner and all of that. So let's just read this real quick. A simple overview of most options to process your way from ore to ingot. For every path through this graph, the effective yield per ore can be estimated by multiplying the ratio of each included step. So we start off with just basic mining, which we looks like we probably have to craft a pickaxe for that. And we end with getting the ingots. So Tinker's Construct is actually in this mod pack, and now it sounds like it's raining. But anyway, Tinker's Construct's in this mod pack. I think that's probably the most efficient way to do things. Crushing it down, milling it is a little bit more efficient. So you can see right here, milling it is a 1 to 3. So 1 crushed ore gives you 3 ingots. Crushing it gives you 3 to 6. I'm sorry, nuggets, not ingots. It's way more difficult. And then pulverizing, which is a pulverizer. I don't know which pulverizer is in this mod pack. Looks like it's the thermal series pulverizer, which looks like it's similar to, I think it's applied energistics. And that's the most efficient way there. So there's all kinds of different progression here with the metallurgy. There's lifesavers. These are just little tips and stuff. So for example, it's letting you know like what's in the mod pack that makes your life a little bit easier, like builder's wands. You can actually craft straw golems, which will take care of your crops for you. But yeah, there is so much to do in this mod pack, so many quests that we're going to progress through, and that's actually pretty cool. You can see my pickaxe on my back. That's just a cool little quality of life thing. But anyway, I think it's time to delve in and start our journey. So we actually spawned right here next to an applied energistics meteorite, and if you mine these out, which I believe we actually need a diamond pick to effectively mine this out. I don't think a wooden pickaxe. No, this doesn't even make a dent in the skystone. We're gonna need a diamond pickaxe to get through to the middle of there, but with the applied energistics meteors, I can't remember what exactly the thingies are called. It's been a while since I've messed around with that mod, but there's like schematics or blueprints or something that end up in the middle of the meteorites, and they help you progress your way through applied energistics. But applied energistics is essentially smart storage, so we store all of our items inside of computers, and it's going to be super fantastic. But either way, this is a really awesome place to build our base, and I think the theme we're going to go with, since this is rocket ship themed, is we're going to build like a launch pad kind of base. We're going to start with something small and then kind of expand on it, and then we can probably build our contraptions either underground or in the surrounding space. I think right over here, actually, I think it's either a swamp or an ocean. Let's kind of get up here and just take a little gander. Yeah, there's water over there. I think it's either just like a river or something, but there's plenty of space in this area, and I don't really think we need to do too much exploration because a lot of the stuff we're going to be doing is done through automated machines. So I think the plans right now is we're going to start doing some mining. This is probably going to take me a little while, but it'll be 30-second jump for you guys. And we're going to set up a little bit of a base, and then our first goal, if I pop this open, is we need to work our way up into andesite machinery. So high aspirations. Before you start making your way down the quest line, these quests are an automation guide. Always view them as recommendations on what you should have a passive supply of. The flow graph roughly depicts the connections between relevant recipes processing. Happy engineering. So the whole goal of this is to work our way up to an andesite machine. So the very first thing I want to do is build an andesite machine, and then I want to look into potentially automating the andesite machine. I doubt we're going to get there in this episode. That may take a few episodes. But once we get there, things will start picking up and things will get easier and easier. So we're going to go ahead and start doing the basics and get our starter house set up. So I just did a little bit of mining and some resource collection. I mined out this little area down here. We found a pretty big andesite deposit, which was pretty cool. Found some coal, some diorite, and we just set up a little cubby here for us to chill in. And right over here in this little river, there was a ton of clay and kelp, which I'll have to keep in mind if we ever need more of that in the future. So lag spike. I collected up a lot of the kelp and the clay and the andesite because these are the ingredients that are needed to make andesite alloy, which, if you don't know, the cream andesite alloy is the base material that is required for pretty much everything that you have to do in the Create mod. Now, the recipe, if you are familiar with the Create mod, is completely different in this mod pack. So 2 andesite alloy with the base crafting recipe needs 2 pieces of andesite and 2 algal bricks. Now, the andesite we already have, but the algal bricks require this algal blend. And to get this, it's 2 pieces of kelp and 2 clay gives you 4 algal blend. So we're just going to convert, I think, a stack of each into this algal blend, and then we'll have to smelt it up. So that gave us 2 stacks of that. Then once we smelt this into the bricks, we combine it with the andesite in the crafting grid, and we have our andesite alloy. Now, the first thing we're going to go for is the millstone. This is going to be extremely useful in the beginning of the game. But we're also going to need to get some iron, because to set up the millstone, I want to use a water wheel, and to pick up water, I need a bucket, and it's going to take us ages to get 3 iron ingots this early in the game, so we're just going to keep on grinding. We just found a gigantic cave, and I'm super terrified to go down there with no gear, but there is a ton of ore, and it doesn't seem like there's many mobs, so let's see if we can get down there somehow. Whoa, this is wild! Look at this, there's gold, there's tons of iron. I don't even know what that is, some purple ore. But now, unfortunately, the place is caked in mobs as we've gotten closer, and we are just not geared at all to be able to handle this. But it's cool to know that this awesome cave system is right below where I spawned. We're gonna have to come down here eventually and gather up all this ore, but for now, we're just gonna have to go in a different direction. So we just did some mining for about half an hour, and we found this gigantic abandoned mine shaft. There's some sections I haven't been able to do yet because they're loaded with mobs, and I just need to keep running away from mobs because I am not geared whatsoever. But we actually found our first bit of diamond ore that we can't actually grab yet until we get our iron pickaxe. So we're gonna head up to the surface. We got 47 crushed iron ore, and if we smelt each piece of iron ore, we'll get 3 nuggets. So this is probably enough to get us about 15 or 16 iron ingots, which should be enough to get us set up with Create and do a couple other things as well. So let's head back to the surface. Okay, so the iron is currently smelting up. Once again, we get 3 nuggets per crushed ore. Now, while we were mining, our algal bricks smelted up, and we should be good to go to make some andesite alloy. So let me grab all of the andesite that I have, and this is great. So I think this is gonna get us 2 stacks of andesite alloy, which is a pretty good start. I think that's 2 stacks, yeah. So now we got 2 stacks of andesite alloy, which is awesome. So we're gonna set up a water wheel. We're gonna try to get ourselves a mechanical press and a millstone set up, and then we're gonna make a push to get an encased fan. Now, once again, to get an encased fan, the very first one that we make, we're gonna have to manually make an andesite machine. Now, for this, we're gonna have to set up deployers if we don't want to craft it manually, which I guess we could craft these manually for the first go. Eventually you can use sequenced assembly, and I believe that makes it a bit cheaper. Yeah, you don't need cogs and stuff then. But to make deployers, I don't know if the recipe's different. Yeah, you need gold to make deployers, and I don't have any gold whatsoever. But once we get there, we can set up the sequenced assembly. But let's go ahead and get started with Create. I think we're gonna set up our just the basic setup right over here. Kind of flattened out this area a little bit. I think this is where the water wheel's gonna go. So let's get cranking. Okay, so we're able to craft the 16 kinetic mechanisms that we need for the encased fan and for the mechanical press. Now, the first thing that we're gonna have to build is the mechanical press, because we need that to build the encased fan, because the encased fan requires a propeller. Try and follow along with me here. Requires a propeller that needs iron sheets, and to get those you need a mechanical press. Now, in order to build the mechanical press, we need 9 iron ingots, because we need an iron block and an andesite machine combined in a smithing table. Now, we can make the andesite machine. I'll show you guys how that works real quick. You just combine all these ingredients in here, and we have our first andesite machine, which is super cool. Very first one of this mod pack. We're going to need a heck of a lot more than just one if we're ever going to build a rocket. So we're going to need to go mining a little bit more in order to get some more iron. So the grind continues. After a stint with a cave spider and we almost dropping dead of poison, we were able to get the iron that we needed, and we can now make our mechanical press. So there it is. Let's hook her up. Then we're going to need 4 iron ingots pressed down into sheets. Like I said, we can just throw the iron ingots below the mechanical press like this. that will create sheets, and then once we have the 4 sheets, we can make the propeller, and then we can make the encased fan. So once we have that encased fan, we can start washing the ore. So we would actually mill the ore down into dust. So for example, I think it's called dust. Let me find iron dust here. We got glowstone, nickel. Let me actually just search for iron here. Iron dust, there we go. So once we have iron dust, we can actually wash that. I think it's the iron dust that you wash, so maybe I click it. So bulk washing. So for every dust you get, you actually get 2 nuggets out of doing washing on it, which means each ore would then give us 6 iron nuggets, which effectively doubles our iron production. So this is definitely desirable. So let's get that encased fan up and running. The encased fan is set up. We are ready to go. So we have effectively doubled our ore production with this basic create mod setup right here. So I actually had to add a second water wheel because with the encased fan, the mill, and the mechanical press, we were overstressed. So that wasn't a big deal. We had all the materials we needed for that. So let me demonstrate to you guys exactly what we're doing here. So I have some crushed zinc ore that I got while we were mining. Now, if we were to just smelt the crushed zinc ore, we would get 3 nuggets. It's the same as if it were iron. Now, if we crush it down in a mill, or millet, we get 3 zinc dust, and then that zinc dust can be washed with the encased fan to get 2 zinc nuggets per dust, effectively giving us 6 nuggets per chunk or crushed ore. So if we throw these into, I'm just going to do one. I'll throw this into the millstone. You can see the particle effects. Once the particles are done, we can right click it, and now we have zinc dust. And if we throw this zinc dust right here, it is getting washed by the encased fan, and it will eventually turn into nuggets. So it might take a second, and there we go. We now have 6 nuggets. So this is the process we can now follow for all of the ore that we find. We've effectively doubled our ore output. So that's all the time I have for this episode. We got our bearings set up. It's not pretty, but we're not looking for pretty right now. We just want to survive. So if you guys enjoyed this episode, do not hesitate to hit that thumbs up. And if you're looking forward to future episodes in Create Above and Beyond, then hit that subscribe button and the bell for notifications. Any help you guys can give, share it with your friends. Any help is much appreciated. Thank you guys so much for joining me. This is going to be an epic mod pack. We're going to the moon. I'll see you guys again. Take care. Bye-bye.
Yeah, we are in the place to be. Yeah, yeah, yeah.